Some sights a man carries forever, like the look in a girl's eyes right after death has stood too close. Tom Delaney had seen that stare in the war, in broken glass and muddy water. But not here. Not on his spread. Not under a blazing Arizona sky that smelled like burned powder. She was on her knees, bleeding. Dress ripped like a fight found her anyway. Hands trembling, skin dusted over. Hair plastered to her cheek, as if she'd run till the world ran out. And her eyes, hollow, not the kind that close when a heart quits, but the kind that stays open when life won't stop pressing down. She didn't cry out, didn't even tell him who she was. All she managed was, please, no more hurt. That was enough. Tom wasn't the saving kind. He lived past the place where the road turns to grit, in a house that forgot what laughing sounded like. He hadn't swung his front gate in 2 years, yet something in him shifted. He walked straight to her. No speeches, no pause. When he reached her and saw blood along her shins and feared she couldn't hide anymore, he did the last thing he expected of himself. He lifted her careful, like she was made of ashen glass, turned, and carried her into that quiet, waiting house. No questions. No judgment. No turning back. Because deep down, Tom Delaney knew this. Sometimes God doesn't send white hats. He sends someone who's already been cracked and is still standing. And what came after? That's where the storm truly started. He didn't sleep. He sat on the porch while the desert pretended to. The sky held 1,000 cold stars that didn't care about the trouble breathing under that roof. Inside, she curled on the couch. He wrapped her in his old army blanket, the one that smelled like wood smoke and long ago years. She hadn't said a word since the whisper in the dirt, but Tom didn't need words yet. He knew plenty. She was hurt. She was scared. And someone did it on purpose. He saw the bruises, the kind that don't come from falling, the kind a man leaves when he thinks nobody will see. Tom had spent most of his life keeping the world off his heart. That night something climbed back in. Morning found her still there. He made coffee and scrambled eggs that looked like they lost a fight. She didn't touch the food, just sat curled tight, a ghost unsure it was dead. But when he offered a tin cup, black, hot, honest, she took it with shaking hands, eyes down, and drank. That was something. Later he went to feed the horses and left the door open on purpose. He didn't lock it, didn't ask her to stay. When he came back, she was still on the floor, tracing the wood grain with her finger like it was a map home. Tom leaned in the doorway and watched, and for the first time since she arrived, she spoke. One word. Why? He didn't answer quickly. He wasn't sure himself. After a while he said, because I've seen monsters. And you're not one. She didn't cry, but her face loosened, just a fraction. 3 days later the letter sat in the mailbox, crumpled, no return, only the sheriff's seal stamped in blue. Tom tore it open right there at the gate with the sun already burning his neck. Short lines, cold as a ledger. Carl Benson, Maya's stepfather, filed a report. Said she was unstable. Said she ran off in a spell. Said he wanted her returned. Tom stared at those words like they'd insulted him out loud. He didn't need a badge to smell the kind of man Carl was. He'd met that type in uniform. Smiles on Sunday, fists at home. Maya was in the yard barefoot, tossing feed, grinning when the rooster missed her toes. He folded the letter, set it on the table. She saw it, didn't touch it, but the color drained from her face like her blood forgot where to go. She whispered the same plea again. Please, no more pain. Tom said nothing at first. He lit the stove, made coffee, and watched fire catch. Then, calm as a rock, he said, I'll take care of it. What he did next, folks talk about. That night, he loaded the truck, checked his rifle, and drove. People at the Mesa Sheriff's Office said he walked in like the floor belonged to them. Told them the whole thing, names, dates, bruises. Said if Carl Benson stepped on his dirt again, cuffs wouldn't be enough. They listened. When Tom Delaney speaks, people do. He came home dusty and tired, but taller than he'd stood in years. Maya saw him from the porch. Her hands trembled, but her smile didn't. You're safe now, he told her. For the first time since she arrived, she believed him. These aren't headlines, but maybe this found you because someone still needs to hear that safe is possible. If this meant something to you, stick around and subscribe. There are more stories worth your time. After that night, something moved. Not everything, not at once, but enough. Maya started walking differently. She didn't jump every time the screen door squeaked. Stopped sleeping in her boots. She was up early feeding chickens before Tom's boots hit the floor. She learned to mend a saddle, clear a rifle, hang clothes so they didn't twist in the wind. One dawn, Tom heard her humming, nothing he knew, just a soft, steady sound, like her bones remembered being human. He didn't interrupt. He stood in the doorway and listened. Some days went smooth. She laughed real, not the tight kind. She helped repaint the barn, turning flaked red into something close to pride. But healing doesn't travel a straight road. Some nights, she woke up screaming. She didn't sleep at all. One time Tom found her outside at 2 a.m., barefoot, kneeling in the dirt. He didn't ask. He set a blanket over her shoulders and sat until the pink edge of morning cut the dark. Before light stayed, they had more night to outlast. She began writing again. He never read a page. Didn't ask. Every sheet she filled seemed to set her shoulders down a touch. Tom didn't know what he was to her, landlord, guard dog, ghost with coffee. Then one afternoon she hollered from the corral, "Hey, cowboy." He looked up. She smiled, wide, warm, alive. That was the first time he wondered if this wasn't a rescue at all. Maybe it was a return. Maybe both of them were coming back. Plenty say tales like this don't count. But if you're still here, maybe you believe broken things can be beautiful again. It happened on a Tuesday, the kind of heat that sticks to your bones. Tom was in the back pasture checking cattle when he heard it. Hooves, fast. Too fast for friends. By the time he hit the gate, dust was already boiling. One rider, young and tall, leather gloves, something heavy tucked at his belt. He didn't bother with being polite. "I'm here for the girl." Tom stood easy. "No, you're not." The rider swung down and took a step. "She's coming back, old man. Don't care what you feel." Tom didn't bite. The man moved quicker, hand dropping toward steel. Tom closed the gap before metal cleared leather. He caught the wrist, twisted. The man yelped. One shove sent him face first into the dirt. Tom stood over him, boots sure on gravel. "Next time I won't be so gentle." He let go and walked back to the porch. The man took his time getting up, then left fast. That night Tom told Maya. She didn't say much, just nodded. Then she looked at him differently, like a latch clicked inside, and stepped into him, arms around his ribs, not in fear, not in thanks, something warmer. "I'm not afraid anymore," she whispered. Neither was he. Weeks drifted by. Maya smiled more, laughed louder, sang at sunup. Tom talked a little longer, carried a little lighter, stood a little taller. They never said the word love, but sometimes the way she poured his coffee or the way he fixed her tack before she asked spoke louder than names ever do. Not every love story starts with roses and fireworks. Some rise from dirt and silence and hurt, and grow anyway. Those are the ones that last. If this stirred something, tapped like. If you think the world still needs stories like this, hit subscribe. But before you scroll, answer this. Have you ever fought for someone you hardly knew because you felt in your bones they were worth it? Ever tried to save a stranger and realized they were saving you, too? Tell us below. We read them all, because sometimes your words are the light another soul is waiting for.